gin now.
Now, the
Yeah,
reason I texted our producer last night, because suddenly it was released and announced that sales of spirits are earning more for the Treasury than beer for the first time ever. Gin sales have surged 12% over the past year.
Wow.
It's incredible.
And
There's so
that's
many gins out
partly
there.
down to, I would have thought, the fact that if you look wherever you go, into your offie, into your supermarket, there are all sorts of these little gins now that you won't have seen before.
There are hundreds of gins. It's amazing how many people have had licences in this country over the last 4 or 5 years. You can argue that it's a very saturated market, but the good ones are really interesting and different. I've picked a couple down there which are slightly different from the norm.
But you're going to blow our minds now, because you say, are we making gin and tonic in the correct way?
Well, yeah, there's so many ways to make it, and I watch people making gin and tonics for me in a pub, and I'm like, no, can you start again? Because you can make the taste so much better if you do it properly. So I'm going to show you how it's done.
How to do it, okay, good.
Okay, what we're going to do is we need lots of ice.
Yeah.
I mean, lots. A lot of people say, well, why do you put so much ice in it? Is it going to dilute the drink? Well, of course not, because ice comes out of the freezer at minus 25 degrees. And the more ice you put in it, the less likely it is for the ice to melt, because it's never going to get to 0 degrees. If you put 2 cubes of ice...
It will melt.
It's guaranteed to melt. So you're guaranteed to have a warm, flat, insipid, dilute gin and
Makes
tonic.
sense.
Makes perfect
So the more
sense.
ice... So the first thing you do is you put loads
Yeah.
of ice in. Preferably, you put the gin in first, because that'll stop the froth going, so it won't be less as
Why
flat.
are you choosing Beefeater, which is because we're saying that there are all these wonderful bijou
Very good point. There
companies.
are so many fantastic gins to choose from, but largely they're pushing £30, £40. That's a lot of money.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially when you think about the fact that when you make the gin, it's 100% alcohol. This is 40%, so that much is tap water. So when you're spending £45 on a bottle of wine, what you're doing is you're paying 30 quid for water out the Manchester Ship Canal or something, you know, and it's just gone through a deioniser or something. But people are taking that bit more seriously. Some gins use spring water now for
Right.
it. Some, you know, so people are thinking about it in a much more depth than they used to.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do now is just put in a measure of gin in each of our glasses.
Is that a double?
That's a double, of course.
Yikes.
Now, here's the important thing. You open small bottles. I mean, I actually still prefer the small, very effervescent Schweppes cans.
Right.
Because you want as
Right.
much fizz as you can.
Okay.
And actually, although there's some really good quality new tonics out there, like Fever Tree, some of them are quite sweet. I prefer mine to be a bit dry, so I'm still a bit of a fan of Beefeater and Schweppes, because Beefeater is a very, very good gin. It's still under 20 quid.
Yeah.
It's only made about a mile away from here in
Yeah.
Yeovil. So what I'm doing, I'm just going to put in the tonic. Try not to make it froth too much, because you want to keep the fizz. Now, here's a really important point. If I just move this out of the way so the cameras can see it. If you're going to cut the lemon, traditionally, you cut it like that, don't you?
Yeah.
It's very pretty, it's nice, it looks nice on the side of a martini glass. But the best thing to do, because you don't need the juice or the pith, is to do that. And what you do is you don't squeeze it that way up, you squeeze it this way up. And then all the oil from the skin goes over the surface of the drink.
Oh, right.
And there we go. Now just try that. It just tastes better that way.
Cheers.
So there's 3 reasons why it's better than it would be if I did it another way. But you get the
Gin
lime
and
oil,
Oh,
you get
that's
lemon oil.
really nice.
Isn't it?
That is took me by surprise how nice I enjoyed that. I used to drink gin all the time, and then I haven't drunk gin for years, really.
Yeah.
I stopped drinking it, but that's really, it's the lemon oil.
We've got more gin in our house, I think, than almost any other
yeah.
spirit, because I
So
love it
nice.
so much.
No, I
Because
love
what
it.
I like to do, I don't like to put tonic in it. I'll drink less of it,
Straight out
but
the
I'll
bottle.
just because these artisan companies work so hard with their botanicals and their and getting the flavours out. I think you lose it if you put a tonic in. So I'd rather drink it neat over ice.
Do
And
you?
actually,
Yeah.
also, if you're using gin this quality, these two are just 1 part gin to 2 part tonic.
So tell us
There's not
about
much tonic in here. So
these
this is
two.
the next gin. This is about 26, 27 pounds. It's from Scotland. There's actually a lot of gin made in Scotland. Because a lot of the whiskey distilleries, you know, if in a recession when you're trying to make more money, you don't put stuff in barrels and leave it for 12 years. You make gin instead.
Yeah.
And there's a brilliant gin called The Botanist, which is made by Brooke
nice.
Laddie.
On Isla. I love that.
It's a
One of my
fantastic
favourites.
gin. And
That's
this is
very smooth.
And this is Carun. And what's special about this? It's a very, very soft, smooth gin.
Really soft. I love it.
Like Victor Kayam said, I like gin so much I bought the company. I'm actually a shareholder in a gin, which is quite similar in style to this. It's very, very soft, and I like
lovely.
gin that you can drink neat. But this has got Scottish botanicals, it's got Scottish flavourings in it,
Yeah.
like heather and local little kind of berries and that sort of thing.
Get you a straw.
And it's lovely, actually, with a slice of apple in it, because that's one of the things that's in it.
how do you squeeze this?
You don't, you just have to bruise it a little bit.
Okay.
So I'm going to do it in both of these, because the last one has another apple story as well.
Okay, well, let's talk about this one now.
Let's move on to this one. This is William's gin, which is made by Chase. Now, William Chase...
They do a really good advent calendar.
Yes, they do. They do a fantastic, and you can have different gin for each day. Now, this gin is very interesting. It's 48% alcohol, so it's quite punchy, okay? And I didn't want to put too much on.
Oh, that is much
What
stronger.
Can you taste the cider in
Happily,
there?
yeah.
It tastes like Calvados, doesn't it? Which is an apple brandy. Well, they've actually used 48 different cider apples, made a cider, and then distilled it and made a gin. And I think this is absolutely delicious. In fact, the only time I tried something like this before was actually in France. There's a gin called Le Gin, which is made using cider as well.
It's a giveaway.
But isn't that fantastic? And Williams is
really
the
nice.
Chase family. They used to be the Tyrrell's family, used to make the crisps.
I think that was my favourite one.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really smooth and soft. You can drink that just over ice with a little splash of tonic. But-
So
Really
the
lovely.
so the
Thank
take
you.
home from this is support the English fizz industry.
Absolutely.
And,
And they're far better value right now than French champagne is.
And experiment with gin because it's not what you think it might be.
And
Yeah.
take your time to do it properly, otherwise
Yeah.
you're wasting a lot of it. I mean, that's a simple, that's just simple tonic, simple gin, makes a brilliant drink if done properly.
Thank you
Joe.
very much.